All right, guys, a lot of my videos are based off of what people message me. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, cobweb, that's how I make my videos, but realistically, it's what people want to know. And I have all these things that I talk about, I've covered them in some of my videos in the past, but I've never actually taken a video and combined it about certain things. So this video is about the accessories you are going to need in order to fly airplanes like the amateur-built, experimental, registered Challenger 2, or even ultralights, kind of like the actual Part 103 ultralights, which you could use this stuff in there too. This video is mostly for people who are just getting into this sport, this passion, this whatever you want to call it, and you're probably wondering to yourself, well, how am I going to navigate? When I get my plane, what am I going to do? And I get this question, and just recently I had somebody message me like, hey, John, I'm thinking about buying an ultralight, but I also want to get my sports possibly. Do I just need to buy the plane? And I was like, well, you need to buy the plane, then you got to have like a headset and a radio, and you have to understand how to do that. And then, it'd be nice if you had a way to navigate. And then he was like, yeah, I know my town really well, lives in Florida. And so I know my town really well. I will tell you, I'm from Florida too. It is not, I lived in Florida in the 90s, okay, when I was a little kid. But when you live somewhere where there are tons of trees, just like I do here, like look out here, tons of trees, when you are up there, things down here don't look like what you remember them. I don't care if you went to school somewhere your entire life and you know that when you leave school and you turn right, that'll take you right to your house. When you're up there, it looks different down here. Now, I guess the caveat to that would be like, I lived most of my life in Kingman, Arizona. You fly in Kingman, Arizona, you take off, you can see everything. The Walmart, the jail, the blah, blah, blah. You can see everything. Here, like anywhere else where it's just trees and stuff, you think you know, you don't. All of a sudden, you're gonna be flying around trying to find roads, and then you're gonna be like, well, shoot, I'm gonna have to follow this road now and drive like a car. Then you're in your airplane looking down, making these decisions. Then what happens? You could get too slow, you could stall, you could run out of fuel. So if you want to trust your knowledge of your area and just fly around locally, that's fine and dandy. If you want to use your cell phone, make sure you're using something, hold on, I'm gonna twist you guys off the mount here. You want to use a cell phone? Get something like this. And this is a RAM mount for cell phones. I just got this one. Ray had let me borrow his and I liked it so much, now I have this one. But that way you are hands off and you're not putting yourself in danger, because especially if you're not a trained aviator, you're flying an ultralight, or if you're a student or whatever, the last thing you need to be doing is staring at your cell phone. It can be very dangerous. Just like if you're turning on a point, like say someone said, hey, come fly over my house. Well, then you're flying and you're looking down on them. Hey, look at us, we're having fun. Boom, too slow, that wing drops. You stall, you spin into the ground. It can happen and it will happen. It's not if it can, it will happen. So this video is about the things I use to keep that at bay so that I'm safe. Let me put you back on the mount. Also in this video, I want to talk about radios and pattern for people who are interested in this type of aviation. I'm going to show you guys everything I use, and then from there, we'll get in the plane and we'll go do a pattern, and I will show you how I utilize my radios. This is all stuff that is argued all over social media and in the pilot world. I know for you FAA or you YouTube lawyers and YouTube pilots, who probably aren't even pilots, most of you, but I know that if you are in an uncontrolled airspace, you do not have to have a radio. I know you don't have to have a Stratus with an iPad. I know you don't have to have that stuff. But my question to you is, you don't have to have it, but doesn't it make sense to communicate? Like, I know people are scared of radios, and you might be watching this thinking, I want to go flying, but I'm scared of the radios. It is not that difficult. Once you understand it, you will love it and know that it's keeping you safe. I love hearing people in the pattern, because when I hear people in the pattern, I know that we know about each other, where we are, and they can't see me. I don't have ADS-B out, but I do have it in. So if I'm in the pattern with a general aviation airplane, I can see it. It can't see me. So anyways, for you YouTube lawyers, I know, I understand you don't have to have it. But if you're looking to get into this, I'm telling you right now, you probably should have it. I'm just telling you this as somebody who flies these type of airplanes. I have had close calls. I have had an airliner right by me coming into Tyler. I've had where I've gone to fly into somewhere and I could see other like ultralights who are not on the radios, and I just luckily I made that decision like, hey, I see them, okay, whatever. So yeah, it's up to you whether you do it or not, but the safer bet is to learn the radios, or at a minimum monitor them, make just minimal calls. But I'm gonna do a full pattern with you guys in this video and show you how I set everything up in my plane, because it's been requested. And this is honestly, this is probably one of the biggest things that people have like an apprehension over. They're like, well, I don't know because it's not, you know, safe, or I don't feel comfortable on the radios. I promise you guys it's real simple. And I'm gonna show you a few things you can buy that'll help you, whether you have an airplane like this or the Part 103. So here we go. And in my last video, I just did a video, I kind of talked about this stuff too, but not to this extent. So this is kind of a video off of that video. Bought these, are Rugged Airs. They were $130. I've had these for about 3 years. These work just fine. You can use these all day long. Or you can get something like the noise canceling. These are Bose A20s. These were probably $1,200, $1,300. And this is obviously noise canceling. So when you're up there, it turns everything off and you can hear, you can go Bluetooth to your phone. It's just a much more relaxing environment when you don't have to hear the two-stroke screaming behind you. But it does change the noise of the engine, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, because I'm used to hearing my engine through these. So it took me about 4 or 5 flights to get used to these. But anyways, you're gonna need one of these. And if you're not gonna use radios, you still need something for your ears. So you're gonna have to buy those. I had to set this down in here. The other thing you're gonna need is a radio. This is my Yaesu 550, it was $250. Your headset can plug right into it, and you can just go that way. Or if you have an airplane like mine, you probably have a comm box that's got a battery, or it's 12 volt plugged in. Mine's 12 volt plugged in, and your comm box will have these to this, and then your antenna plugs into here, and you can plug your headset into the comm box, and that way you have more of a power source, and you can have a mic and things like that. You can actually have a mic without it too, but I'm thinking it probably kills the battery. I don't know, don't quote me on that. But you're gonna need a radio. This one is $250, fairly cheap. There are some that are far more expensive, but you only need one like this, so $250. If you're an Apple phone user, which I am not because I'm awesome, I use Samsung. But if you're an Apple phone user, you could just get a Stratus. This is a Stratus 3 through my Pilot Shop. It's about $700, $800. I think it was $799 or $699, I can't remember. I've had it a long time, 3 years now. This is an iPad mini. If you have an iPhone, you can actually just download ForeFlight or some like app that connects with the Stratus, and you can actually use your phone in that little mount that I showed you guys. And this can be keep you safe, keep you to where you know where you are. So you could eliminate some costs if you have the phone, but if you're really gonna do a lot of flying, you should definitely get an iPad mini. This is a 5th generation iPad mini. I paid $500 for it used from a gentleman in Dallas, a pilot in Dallas. But the pivot case and all this stuff, I currently have it on my knee board because my actual mount broke in the plane. And so I'll have it back up there eventually. But yeah, so this is about probably $600, $700 for one of these. And then the kits for them like $100. I know it seems expensive, guys. It seems expensive because it is, but it's also your safety. So when you're up there flying, I'm telling you right now, I fly here all the time. There is a water tower that's on the, like if you're downwind, left downwind for 1-8, it's a water tower. That's kind of how I use. But there are so many trees and buildings that honestly, if it wasn't for that, I would have no idea. I'd be looking around just trying to figure it out. So this helps me with that. Worst case scenario, I do have my phone in my pocket, but if I pull it out or if it's not on the mount or whatever, I'm going to make sure that I'm safely away from everybody and that I'm maintaining a good speed so that I don't stall. The main purpose of this video is for, again, like I said earlier, for people who are thinking about getting into the sport and they've asked themselves lots of questions about how do I do this or what should I use? So I hope by showing you those things, it helps ease your mind that there are ways that you can go fly and still be safe and have an ability to get home. If you're in a Part 103 ultralight, you only have 5 gallons, which means you probably have just over an hour and a half of fuel, depending on which engine you have. And if you go 45 minutes away and you come 45 minutes back, or if you're just flying around for an hour, that 15 or 20 minutes could be pretty critical. So if you know exactly where you are at all times, that could really save your butt. Just something to think about. And the other thing, so the next thing is, and like I had just showed you guys, was radios. Guys, radios are very simple. And if you're gonna be an ultralight pilot, you have to make the decision whether you wanna put that in your hands or not. If you're gonna be a sport pilot, then you're gonna have to learn some radios. And a private pilot, of course, you have to be able to go into Bravo airspace. So that's when you go through all the craziness. I'm a private pilot. I don't have a lot of Bravo time. I could pull it off, no problem, but it's not something I desire to do unless I get a job, and then I'll freshen up on that. I only have maybe 4 or 5 times in the Bravo, and it wasn't bad. I had it pretty easy, but getting to understand the radios is not difficult. It's more scary of a thought process. You know, both of my sons, they say that all the time. Well, Dad, flying seems fun, but man, the radios. I no longer think about what I'm saying on the radio, because, which is a good thing and a bad thing, but I know, my brain just knows what to say. Recently, a couple of videos ago, I left somewhere and I looked at my phone and I knew that the winds were gonna be crosswind, but it was favoring runway 36. When I got closer to here, I could see, now that there's 2 windsocks, I could see that it actually favored runway 18. And because my brain, I had told myself I was landing on 36, I still proceeded to use the left downwind for 36, when in reality I was left downwind for runway 18. I tell you this to be humble in that we all make mistakes. The radios, you're gonna make mistakes. You're less likely to make those mistakes when you are amongst other airplanes, because you're gonna hear them talking about, hey, we're using runway 18, we're using runway 36, or blah, blah, blah. And so you're gonna hear that before you get there, and then when you make your decision, you can ask them like how what it was like. But in this case, I've never flown out of my airport with another airplane here. I've never seen another airplane here other than just flying over and then stopping and visiting. I've never been in the pattern with anybody here. So that is one good thing for my scenario, was that there wasn't some ultralight assuming I was coming in the other way. There wasn't. But the moral of the story is, if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. So radios, they can be important, they can be scary, but I promise you, once you do them, they're real easy. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna pull the plane out, I'm gonna pre-flight it, and we're just gonna go do a pattern. I'm gonna show you how I use my radios, when I use my radios, and you can decide whether you wanna do it or not, and we'll just do a quick pattern. Appreciate it. If you guys have made it this far, please like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel up. I've had a lot of support so far, like in regards to subscribers and comments and views, and I really appreciate that. But it really helps me if you guys comment on the video here on YouTube, not on Facebook or anything like that. I mean, you can, but if I post it on a Facebook group and you're watching this video, please put the comments down here. Tell me which radios you have. Tell me how you navigate. I'm sure there are lots of different ways to do it. This is just how I do it. So please put the comments down there. Let me know how you're doing it. Let me know what type of plane you have. Let me know what type of plane you're thinking about getting. It truly interests me. And I have, like, without kidding, I have probably 30 to 40 conversations with people via email, text, Facebook Messenger, where I'm just hearing their stories and they're telling me about their flight experience and things like that. And I absolutely love it. And there's a lot of you that are watching this right now that are probably those people, and I love having those conversations. It does get a little hectic. I get things mixed up with certain people, so I have to kind of go back and read because I can't remember everybody. But I'll tell you what, this has been just so awesome. And this is why I'm working on getting my CFI, so that I can help you guys. If you're interested, you're in the East Texas area, eventually I'll have my CFI, my sport CFI. Although I'm a private pilot, I'm getting my sport CFI so that I can help people with getting into this type of aircraft. You can reach out to me on the video here, or if you see my thing on Facebook. But I won't have my instructor rating probably until middle of next year, but we can get the ball rolling just in a friendship beforehand, and that way you know what to expect out of me and I'll know what to expect out of you. So I'm gonna pre-flight the plane, and we'll go do a pattern so you guys can see how I do it.
All right, guys, well, we're in the plane here. We can see down there that the wind is coming kind of more from the north, so we're going to use runway 36, which is down that way. I've got my iPad here, and my radio is tuned into my frequency here at the airport, and my Stratus is here. My cell phone is mounted there. My altimeter is set. I just need my temps to get up, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to take this camera and set it up out there for takeoff and stuff in the landing. I feel like a social media influencer, like in public, putting a camera up, looking all goofy. And now we're going to taxi to runway 36. It's okay because I needed time to get my engine warmed up anyway. So now we're out here at 36, guys, or at the runway, 1836. And obviously the runways are numbered based off of magnetic heading. So we're going to go to 36, aiming north. Vakamu, yellow experimental A5 Bravo is back taxiing runway 36, Vakamu. Look both ways. Nobody on my iPad. So we are clear. Got my little GoPro there. I had to run over and get some air in my tire. Luckily Carlos was here. He's the owner of this joint, and he had a tank. I usually have a tank in the hangar, but we're using it for something else. Probably just gonna do a lap like I told you guys, you know, just show you kind of how I do it. This is probably more how I would do it if I was just an ultralight guy, you know, just stay in the pattern or kind of just go putts around, you know. Well, you're taxiing, you're not exempt from other airplanes and stuff, so you got to look around for that. Some airports you go to will have a taxiway, and some you just have taxi on a runway like this. That looks good. Then I always go a little higher in the RPMs. Then I pull it back just to see what her tendency is. Not too crazy. I just go up to about 5,000 RPM. I know everybody's going to be like, oh, that's not what I do. You know, you should do it, but that's what I do. So, and we'll check it around here. Traffic is on. I don't see anybody around us. Yeah, guys, so, you know, right now, before I take off, I'm going to make sure my seatbelt's on, go through my little checklist here. And you could put your checklist on your iPad, or you could, you know, in an ultralight, there's really not going to be a lot. You get your seatbelt on, blah, blah, blah. And Vakamu, yellow experiment A5 Bravo is departing runway 36. I'll be left traffic, Vakamu. Fuel pump on. Here we go. I always keep my stick back, keep my nose off this ground, because it is a grass runway. We're gonna go right at the camera. That'll be cool. Ooh, it is bumpy. Man, it has just been bumpy every dang day. Every day. So you don't have to make every call out here, but I'm going to. And Vakamu A5 Bravo is crosswind for runway 36, Vakamu. So now I'm crosswind. I'm looking for other traffic. I'm going to pull my power back a little bit. I don't want it to be sitting there too long, and I'm already high enough to get somewhere if I need to. And Vakamu A5 Bravo is left downwind 36 Vakamu. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Oh yeah, now we're definitely in the downwind. Ooh. Oh, the birds. Yeah, it's awfully bumpy, guys. So now I'm already here. I'm in my downwind. I'm already in a position to where I have plenty of places to go. I'm going to pull my power back. I'm looking around. I'm seeing birds and everything. Turbulent, it's very turbulent. Turbulent day, so I can't wait to get back into the headwind here. All right, now I'm gonna turn my left base. And Vakamu A5 Bravo's left base for 36 Vakamu. I'm way high. which I like to be high. You see, this is how simple the radios are, guys. If there's somebody else in the pattern, we're just going to be talking like that. And if you're in a little uncontrolled field like this, then chances are you guys can just have that banter a little bit, you know, not a lot, but a little bit. Now I'm intentionally landing long because I want to land next to the camera. Influencer. And Vakamu A5 Bravo is final 3-6 Vakamu. And I am a little high. Let's pull this power back, get this nose down. Ooh, it is rough, guys. You know, it's funny. The days that look just super nice, you never know. You never know. And it looks super nice, but man, that was rough. See if we can get down there next to the camera a little bit more. There we go. All right, let's go. Beautiful landing. All right, guys, if you haven't yet, you know, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you're thinking about getting into flying. Let me know. Put in the comments. Don't let anything scare you or bother you. You just got to get out there. You got to learn. You got to be comfortable with what you're using and how you're doing things. So I know this video is kind of weird. It didn't really have like a full purpose, but just know that it's possible. And if you're thinking about doing it, do it. It's not scary. Now, normally you wouldn't hang out in the active like this, but I'm going to grab my camera from in the plane. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Oop, and we hit a bump. All right, guys, thanks for watching.